So one of my absolute favorite bands has put a new album out, and I need to fucking talk about it. It's Impera by Ghost. Those of you who are not familiar with Ghost, there's a lot, man. You really need to get into it because it's deep. There's a deep mythology behind Ghost. The entire existence of the band is art within itself. The band is living art. You hear what I'm fucking saying? The man behind it, Tobias Forge, he is the only actual member of this band. The rest of the band are hired people. He swaps them out routinely. They don't even have names. If you're in the band, you are a faceless ghoul. And then the fact that they have hit songs. I just went and saw these guys a couple of weeks ago out in Sugarland. The fucking place was packed. And, you know, here in Houston, we have Lakewood Church and the pastor, Joel Osteen. They have this gigantic arena show where he comes out and there's a full band and they're playing songs about the Lord and, you know, we're lifting up the good vibes. And then, of course, you pass around, you get the money, get the fuck out. The show was like a weird, bizarro version of that. And instead of Joel Osteen, you had Papa Emeritus IV. But the point is that they are like a weird, bizarro Catholicism. And they're trying to theoretically herd the sheep, if you know what I'm saying. And how would you do that then with pop music? You're using the power of music to bring the sheep in before you fleece them. You're taking classic elements of Christianity and you're flipping it on its head, and what you have is Ghost. This album, Impera, if you're someone who loves early metal, regardless of your age, foundational metal, I'm talking about Judas Priest, I'm talking about Iron Maiden, I'm talking about those type of bands. If you're someone who's into that, but maybe at the same time you love like 70s, 80s prog stuff, you know, Rush. Man, if you listen to the first track here, Kaisarian, this fucking thing comes in, it almost sounds like The Who coming in. This fucking music sounds like it came from another time. A definite like fucking 70s, 80s prog vibes mixed with like a classic rock feel. And it's a fucking great opener, man. And then from there, you get into Spillways. Oh my God! All throughout this album, there are gigantic fucking choruses. You listen to fucking Spillways 2 times, you're gonna be screaming it, dog. And you can say that for several songs on this album. You will be screaming the choruses. I mean, Spillways is such pure 80s metal. And I don't mean like the caricature 80s shit. I'm not talking about hair metal. I'm talking about the essence, if you will, of fucking classic 80s metal. It's all here in Spillways. For those of you that are younger, it's hard to think there was a time where heavy metal was the big music on the fucking radio. They were big pop metal hits. And that's what I'm talking about with Ghost. These are songs that if they came out in 1984, they're hit fucking songs. I'm telling you, dude, they would be packing fucking stadiums in the 80s. The styles completely eclectic. The sheer volume of shit that Tobias Forge layers. I mean, there's all kinds of backup singers. There's full brass sections on some of these songs. I mean, there's a huge attention to detail in every element of the presentation of Ghost. Searchlights, once again, it would have been a huge, this probably would have been the biggest hit off the album if this was the 80s. Call Me Little Sunshine, Hunter's Moon, those both sort of, they were almost outcasts on this album in the sense that they sound like Ghost. They sound like stuff off of Prequel, Stuff that is more kind of classic Ghost, whereas the rest of this stuff is fucking flamboyantly and unabashedly 80s out the fucking ass. And once again, not in an ironic way, not in a fucking making fun of it way. I'm talking about the straight dope, motherfucker. So a lot of people made a big deal about the song The 20s because it's got like a reggaeton beat, which for those of you who don't know, it's kind of almost like a Caribbean beat, reggae at the heart of it. So think of that. And that song is able to take that reggaeton beat and turn it fucking sinister. That's an example, that song, The 20s, of brass sections, fucking backup singers, just huge decadence, sonic decadence, if you will. Then from there, you go into a fucking legit boner jam, Darkness at the Heart of My Love. You take that, put that on your playlist of jams to fuck to, if you're somebody that doesn't want to bang to, like, cliche shit. This song is going to be a song that heavy metal motherfuckers dance to. It'll be their big first dance when they get married and shit like that. That's gonna be Darkness at the Heart of My Love. So sweet, so romantic, beautiful jam. And then you've got Griftwood and Respite on the Spitalfields. And those are great songs too, but they almost suffer from just being next to the powerhouse first half of this album. Really, the first 3/4 of this album, fucking huge, man. You almost face exhaustion at that point from the brutal, endless headbanging that you did through the first 3/4 of this album. This album, even if you separate it from the Ghost mythos, is great. It's the best album of the year so far. People that are hardcore fans of the original Ghost and the original sound of Ghost, they have issues with where this is all going. But to me, fuck, man, this is greatness. Don't be afraid of the satanic elements. It's not, I feel it's tongue-in-cheek. I don't know. For all I know, Tobias Forge is a hardcore fucking Satanist. But if you've ever met Satanists, they're not scary people. They're pretty nice people. Just listen. You're gonna fucking love it. And if you've ever heard me do these reviews, I rate these albums on a boner scale, which basically I'm referring to the quality of the boner. Now, from flaccid to like the most turgid boner you've ever had, it's not quite that level, but man, this is a rock hard cock of an album. Go get it. Impera by Ghost. You'll be glad you did.